welcome to the goddamn Evil Broomstick channel. Today I'm going to be talking about, spoiling, and analyzing the film The Lodge. It's a 2020 horror psychological drama. I think the type of horror fan this movie's for. If you like Hereditary, if you like Ari Aster films, if you like Robert Eggers films, if you like The Shining, check out this movie. I'm not saying you love it, but I think this is a movie you at least need to give a watch. This is from the directors of Goodnight Mommy. There's Severin, Fiala, and Veronica Franz, and it's very similar to Goodnight Mommy in that it's three characters, an older woman, and then two kids trapped in one location, and everybody's going insane, and you're going insane watching the movie. In this film, it begins with a mother, and this mother, we learn, is very depressed and sad because her husband is leaving her for a younger, hotter chick. Anyways, there's a scene in the movie where he tells her, he's like, hey, I want to finalize our divorce because I'm getting married to my girlfriend in like 6 months. And the mom's like, oh my God, you can see she's barely holding it together. And then she just like goes at her own place. She grabs a glass of wine, sits down, grabs a gun out of her purse, and she blows her head off. And it's like a quick, great, shocking scene to let you know like you're gonna see some messed up stuff in this movie. There's an incredibly heartbreaking scene that follows very closely after that. People most hurt by their mother's death are the two kids, Aiden and Mia. The daughter, there's a scene where she's crying like she can't get into heaven now, like talking about her mom, like she can't, because she killed herself, now she can't get into heaven. And it's so sad and so crushing because like I believe personally once you're dead, lights out, that's it, there's nothing else. But like this girl doesn't believe that. This girl believes like her mother's soul will never be at rest now the rest of her eternity. And it's a heartbreaking scene. These two kids did a great job. Leah McHugh and Jaden Lieberher. What kind of last name is that? Lieberher. These two kids did a great job. Riley Keough in the film is just phenomenal. She's the performance to watch. But anyways, the dad wants to take these two kids on a trip with his girlfriend. He's not so much worried about, their mom's death. He's just like, hey guys, I got this hot chick and I want you guys to get along and be friends with her because this is kind of like your new mom in a way. If you tell two kids who just lost their parents, hey, the dad comes in like a scumbag, like, hey, this is my new chick, this is your new mom, they're obviously gonna revolt against her. They're not gonna be down. But the girl's very kind. When her name's Grace, played by Riley Keough, she's trying so hard to bond with these kids, and I just feel bad for her because I went through something similar where, like, there's someone that you believe split up your parents' marriage, and you see them as the enemy, especially when you're a little kid. You're like, that is the one, that's the guy who did it. In this case, that's the woman who did it. And in this case, that's the woman who caused their mother's death. So they extra hate this girl, and they don't really like the dad either. Speaking of, I haven't given Grace's backstory, but Grace is a survivor. She was in a religious cult when she was a kid, and I believe it was around 41 people committed suicide in this cult, and Grace was the only survivor. And the kids know this. The kids saw footage of everything that she went through when she was a kid, and they see her as a psychopath. They tell the dad, like, this girl is a psychopath. She was a part of this religious cult that everyone killed themselves. And the dad knows that because the dad wrote about Grace in his book. So the dad kind of comes off as a creepy stalker who like got close to this girl because he was fascinated by her story in the cult. These kids see Grace as a crazy chick, and she takes these pills. They're antipsychotics because she's been clearly dealing with a lot her entire life, and she has this comfort dog. They don't want to go on this trip at first, but then eventually they agree to go on this trip, and the dad has to go away on a work vacation. It's kind of like so awkward because like these kids hate this girl, and they got to live, the three of them, together because the dad takes the car, goes on his work vacation, and it's just Grace, Aiden, and Mia stuck in this house for a few days while he's on this work trip. He takes the car to get snowed in. It goes full Shining of three characters stuck in a place driving you insane, and they can't escape because they're snowed in. The generator goes out. They have no power, they have no electricity, their phones are dying, everything's going wrong. Everything goes missing. It's as if they were robbed of every material possession in the middle of the night. And then boom, when everything goes missing, her pills goes missing. So instantly she's already going to spiral out of control. And throughout the film, we're watching her dive deeper into this madness of not knowing what's going on. And you're wondering, like, is she just going crazy and she's the one who took everything? She's the one who's walking through the house in the middle of the night. She's the one that's giving these kids nightmares. Is she about to go insane and kill them with this gun that's in the house because her antidepressants went missing or her antipsychotics. Maybe she hid them. Maybe, we don't know. Then some extra creepy stuff begins to happen because we find the picture of the two children buried in the snow, and it says in loving memory. And then you're like, whoa, this girl Grace really is crazy. She's planning to kill these kids. We start to wonder, she's planning to kill them in loving memory. Did she make that? Are these kids dead? And then Aiden starts saying that they died. They died from this gas heater that like smoked them out through in their death. And they're dead. And he starts trying to convince Grace that they're in purgatory right now. He shows her a news article, and in the news article it mentions Mia, Aiden, Grace all died in this like lodge, smoked out in the middle of the night gas heater, tragedy, and all three of them died. And so these characters who are snowed into this place begin to believe like, we're dead, we're in purgatory right now, and we need to repent our sins so we can go to heaven. And Grace is already off her meds, her dog's missing, she's going completely insane. And I was like, holy shit, this movie's about characters in purgatory trying to enter heaven and trying not to just be stuck in this lodge the rest of eternity. Like, this is fascinating, this is insane. And then in brilliant fashion, the twist comes that all along, these characters are not in purgatory. These characters are not dead. This is a revenge film, and this is the children taking revenge on Grace. And we learned that they planned all this. They hid all her stuff. They hid her meds, and they tried to convince her that she was insane and that she was in purgatory to get revenge for their mother's death. But then the dog dies. They find out the dog dies. And Mia, who's a little bit younger, we can tell has been like a little wishy-washy on this whole plan anyways, to basically torture this girl Grace. And she apologizes. She's like, oh my god, I didn't mean for this dog to die. And then the kids come forward and they're like, hey, we planned the whole thing, we faked this whole purgatory thing, we were just messing with you, it was just a prank. But at this point, Grace is so far gone. She's so far gone because her meds are gone, her dog is gone, she's just descended into madness. She believes she was in purgatory, and her brain, no matter what they say now, her brain has just left the building, and her mind is just in insanity. So she starts going full religious, repenting her sins. She starts burning her knees, her lips are chapped because they're frostbitten, and she's just going insane. And that's where the dad shows up. The dad gets shot, and like at first I was like, oh my god, the dad gets shot in the head, and I felt so bad. I'm like, the poor dad, the poor kids. Now this woman, they were right, they acted like she was an insane person. She was trying so hard to just bond with them and be a nice girl, and they drove her insane. And now their dad's dead, she does look like an insane person. But then you start to think about it, and it's sort of justice. I believe the villains of this film are the children. You can't really blame the dad. I mean, the dad wasn't perfect. The way the dad did things wasn't perfect. The victim isn't Grace because she tried. She fell in love with a man. She didn't mean for the mom to kill herself. That wasn't her doing. And she just tried to bond with these kids, and it blew up in her face because these kids wanted nothing to do with her, and they wanted to torture and murder her. And so these kids are the villains of the film, and they ultimately get justice in the end because they got their father killed and they drove this woman insane. And this film ends in a beautiful scene where the kids have their mouths duct taped and it says sin, and they're at a table with their dead dad who has his brains blown out, and she's got 2 bullets left, and she's probably going to kill those 2 kids, and they never make it out, and they will probably be stuck in purgatory like they faked. It's shot from the same cinematographer who does all of Yorgos Lanthimos' movies. Like, if you've seen The Favorite, that guy does some really great stuff, filming all entirely in this lodge and in the snow. It's reminiscent of Hereditary in many ways, even though Hereditary is far superior, because it's hard to make a horror film nearly as good as Hereditary. If you liked Hereditary, you're probably gonna like this movie. If you like The Shining, Goodnight Mommy, Ari Aster films, Robert Eggers, I'm telling you, check out The Lodge. The Lodge is one of the better movies I've seen in 2020, even though I've only seen like 10 movies in 2020 because no movies came out this year. That's my breakdown of The Lodge and everything that occurred. I believe in the end, the 2 kids will die. The father dies, this entire family of 4 dies, and they ruin this girl because this girl, if you think about Grace, she was on a road to redemption. You know, she had a horrible childhood and she survived, and she was trying to make herself better. She had finally found like a little family and everything, and she was trying to make herself better, and these kids didn't allow that. These kids robbed her of that, and they got justice in the end, because in the end they're gonna die horrible deaths. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out this movie. Let me know what you think about The Lodge, and let me know what you think about watching movies at 4 in the morning and filming videos at 5 a.m.